Our fourth speech tonight is done by Heleniq. It's called The Flow State. So please, Heleniq.
Good evening, everyone. I want to tell you something about mentorship and why I think mentoring is one of the most powerful relationships you can ever get into. So I'm going to share with you a story tonight that demonstrates 3 specific times where a mentor in my life really made some life-changing advice, or gave me life-changing advice, and really helped me to see the world in a totally new way. The first story demonstrates how important it is to be a critical thinker, how we need to think differently about the world and not just assume that everybody sees the world the same way as we do. The second demonstration will really involve the very important teaching that I still keep close to in my life, that nature is one of the most important things for our own psychological health. The third demonstration talks about how men and women are meant to live together in harmony. So let me begin. Some of you know that I'm trained as a clinical psychologist, but what you might not know or might not remember is that I trained in South Africa at a time where the political change was happening and there was incredible critical thinking at the university where I studied. So I had a supervisor. In those days we called them supervisors, but this was actually a mentoring relationship by another clinical psychologist whose name was Magda Strong. Guess where Magda Strong came from?
South Africa.
Amsterdam. And that's why destiny brought me back here. Just joking. Well, Magda Strong was an amazing woman. She was very creative, and she was very much into the unconscious. And at that time I was studying in the internship for the military hospital, which meant that I was working in a hospital that was dedicated towards helping soldiers and their families adjust to the life of being a civil servant. So often we would get people coming into the hospital with a psychotic break. Now, if you know anything about psychosis, it means there's a break with reality, and there might be a time where the person hears voices. Now, at that time, my mentoring with Magda was very, very powerful because she helped me understand that as a psychologist of that time, we had to be very careful not to impose our traditional medical, psychological way of looking at psychosis onto certain people, because it's traditional in certain tribes in Africa to have a calling that looks like psychosis, which is in fact a way of being invited to become a traditional medicine man or medicine woman. My second very powerful experience with Magda was actually at a time where she brought in a very interesting psychiatrist called Dr. Macmillan. And Dr. Macmillan was in fact an elephant conservationist in his part-time, but a psychiatrist during the normal days of his work. So of course this was a fascinating meeting with him, because I understood through Magda's choice to present him to us that she was trying to show something to the students or the interns of that time. And Dr. Macmillan talked about something so incredible, it stayed with me all my life. He shared his experiences working with hunters who actually ended up going psychotic. And he explained that many hunters spend a lifetime poaching animals, and especially ones who poach elephants, can take a lifetime of success only to reach a moment in life where they are staring out into the distance in the middle of the wild. They pull up a shotgun, they get ready to take the shot, and they aim the shotgun straight between the eyes of the elephant at a far off distance, 100 meters away or more. And for some reason, in that split-second moment where they meant to shoot, as they have many times before, they just cannot pull the trigger. Something happens. They have a psychotic break, a kind of nervous breakdown. They end up in his office, and he uses the story to talk about how important animals are, the ones that are going extinct very, very soon, to our own psychological development. That when we look at animals in nature, or when we relate to animals, we are relating to a part of the psyche. And unless we have these experiences, we will never be able to respect nature as we need to. The third powerful experience with Magda was a time when I had a client that I needed to seek supervision for, where I was trying to understand the relationship between him and his partner. He was a male, he had a partnership with a female, and she was explaining to me that sometimes it's really important to help men take their inspiration from women. And of course I wasn't sure if she was just being feminist or if there was deeper reason for this, and she explained something that stayed with me till now. She said, Listen, Magda speaks around the room. That the moon revolves around the sun. And the moon is often correlated or connected to feminine energy because the moon is like a reflector of light and it sits inside the darkness without a light of its own. The sun is actually connected to the masculine energy or to men, meaning that the sun radiates light. So symbolically speaking, the sun is like the masculine energy that is able to experience consciousness, and the female is like the unknown or unconscious energy that reflects consciousness. When these two work together, we see the moon revolving around the sun. I was shocked because I was a little bit of a feminist, so I was thinking, what does she mean? The women revolve around the man? Magda explained, it's not that simple. We're talking about the complementarity of opposites. The moon has its place revolving in the darkness, just as women do, connecting with the unknown, able to carry life, pregnant for 9 months before they see the result. But the fact that they can take an assisting position around the sun, they are able to reflect the radiance of the sun. In other words, men take their inspiration to know their own light through the relationship they have with women. As you can see, for me, mentoring with Magda was pretty foundational to the kind of career I developed and the kind of attitudes I take towards things. And I want to thank her from this speech because I never had the chance to do that. And I also want to share with you why I think it's so important to have this relationship at some point in life, whether you are studying, whether you are older in your life, whether you're starting a business or not. Because ultimately one thing Magda gave to me was this incredible reflection of my own uniqueness and my creativity as a psychologist. So she gave me permission to be a little bit different to the other people in my teaching. She gave me permission to be who I was. And I think every mentor has this classic power to do that. And when they achieve it well, we really have a chance to be unique and to give a unique contribution to the world. We have a chance to really be in our own zone and to be in what I call the flow state, to be in your own flow. Thank you.